40. All of them. Yeah, I was gonna say that's not necessarily true, but within the first year, they certainly would have made a profit. Well, the publisher gets a little bit. The owners of the consoles they're making it for get a little bit. They also have to pay all of their own employees and pay for all of the electricity and all of their bills, all the hard. Right. Most of us. You can tell who bought it from looking at all the costumes that everybody has. I was so excited about the game, and I just wanted to give them money so that they'll keep making good shit. So I bought the 100. I will too, because I feel like the devs have catered to exactly what I wanted in the game. So I'm gonna try to help, feed them and clothe their families and give them Lamborghinis. You know what I'm saying? Right, I spend money on things I like. That's the whole point of money, is to spend. That's literally the whole point. Well, let me ask you, though. I don't know if you're being serious or not, but let me ask you, though. What's the point of hoarding money if you're working your whole ass, just your whole life, just. Oh, okay. But seriously, my point is, this still is a valid point, though, because some people really do think that way. But like that, I just don't understand that, though, because, like, so you're gonna bust your ass your whole life to just collect something that's essentially valueless. Because in 20 years, even just with inflation, in 20 years, if you saved $100,000, it's not worth $100,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you save money for 50 years, and then, like, what do you do with it? You're just saving it. You're not spending it. Your life isn't any better. What are you doing with that money? The whole point of money was to provide a better life for you, for your friends, for your family. Like, what's the point of hoarding money when you could be buying, like, clothes, food, houses, cars, things that people, like, can use? Buying all your friends a nice manor house. You know what I'm saying? Like, buy a hotel. Let all your friends and family live there for free as long as they upkeep their own areas. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could do a lot if you had enough money, and then give it back to the people who, like, helped you get it. And then you invest in people instead of in shit, and you'll end up having more in the long run. And those people will invest in you. Why? But why do you regret it, though? Right. The only way to out earn the inflation is to invest in actual hard like product. Buy gold, buy actual resources that will always have value that you can always flip. Because if you're investing in the stock market, well, tomorrow the entire stock market go bellies up. I mean, look at the stock market crash. Look at the dirty 30s. I mean, look at all these different times. I mean, look at the 90s with Y2K. I mean, the stock market took a big hit when that shit was happening. Like, there's no stock market is essentially just an educated gambling scheme. So, and at any minute, your stock market could go belly up. The whole thing, not even just the stuff you're investing in, but everything. It only works because it's all hypothetical, essentially. Like, our whole currency system is in hypotheticals. Right. So it's you know what? They have a word for that. It's called a pyramid scheme. That's literally what it is. I would just like to point out, though, it was one thing investing in a stock market, right? But if you invest in something that's going to keep making you money, that is actual resources, like hard product, and not something that's just hypothetical currencies and ownership. Even if the whole stock market goes belly up, if you invested in a construction company or in someone who does like Amish woodworking, you know what I'm saying? Something that will never go away, you will always have it. Yes. Yes. And it might not always be. A lot of people get really rich, on the stock market. Don't get me wrong. But get the fuck out. Yeah, probably. Or broke. Yeah, but there's also the possibility that in 20 years we'll be at Terminator Judgment Day. So... Yeah, except that we'll never be able to create true AI, though. No, it's not where I'm wrong. So it's smarter than the people that programmed it. That's what you're telling me? The people that taught it how to think. It's somehow... No, that's literally breaks the laws of physics. That's not how that works. You cannot create something that you teach how to think that can somehow think better than you. You taught it everything it knows. You taught it its logical processes. You taught it how to accumulate information. Right, but that's just reflexes. Define training. So the AI does not have access to the internet. So no, the answer is no. Is that what you're saying? All right, so I'm going to ask you again. So when it did the thing where you said it wasn't trained, so it didn't have any connection to the internet. Okay. So it was a completely like closed loop circuit. Okay. Okay, so they just ran it through like a flight simulator, essentially. Okay. Right, but you know how they do that is they speed up the simulation so that they can do it 25,000 times in a few days. Right, but that's my point. If you did that with a human, if a human spent that exact same time and energy doing the exact same thing, it would be able to outmaneuver and beat the AI. Right, because we can't speed up human. We can't put a human in a time capsule and download. But that doesn't make the AI smarter. That makes us smarter because we can force the AI to do whatever we fucking want. AI will... Not necessarily, because AI is entirely reliant on us to survive. That's what you think, but that's not necessarily true. Even in every post-apocalypse, even in the Matrix, even in Terminator, they always have to have humans for some reason. They always keep human slaves. Right, but we're the ones that wrote the algorithm. Yeah, stuff that we already made and created. It added information that humans already made. Right. Yeah, monkeys can do that too. If I give a monkey a hammer and ask it to make it hungry enough and say, here's a coconut, figure out how to open it up. Yeah, it's going to bash the coconut with the hammer. Monkeys do that too. That's not that impressive. Babies do that. Infants, you can give that exact same thing to an infant and the infant will figure out how to turn the TV on. That doesn't make AI smarter. It's using... I know, I'm dumbing it down, but my point is, we taught it how to do that. It's not doing anything that humans can't do. The AI will never be able to do something that humans can't do. According to what? Because the AI will fail over and over and over again, but it'll fail 1,000,000 times in 5 minutes before it gets the correct thing. If you gave the human that exact same toolkit, they would succeed quicker. Because the humans are the one that taught the AI how to run the algorithms to get the right answer. We're the ones that created the algorithm in the first place that it's using to find its answer. We came up with that from scratch. We gave that to it. It couldn't even come up with an... You couldn't give like a 1 bit. You couldn't put 1 bit in a computer and have it replicate itself. Right, but according to science, we were never given those same building blocks. We created those building blocks that we gave to AI. So by definition, AI can never outpace us because it's only working off of what we built. It never built anything of its own. It never created its own information. It never discovered data on its own. It can't even translate ancient human languages that it's supposed to be the expert on. It can't even translate those correctly, and humans are the ones that came up with that language in the first place. It's not smarter than us. Yeah, it's working. It can translate cuneiform better than most people can right now. But that, again, that's because you can't put a human who's really good at translating cuneiform into a time capsule and give him 10,000 years of cuneiform training and research and translation in 5 minutes like you can with AI. That's the only reason AI can outperform people, is because we can speed up AI's cognitive ability. But it's, yeah, that's the only part of it. It's still using human thought processes that have been programmed into it. It's still using the same thought process, just speeded up. That's all the only difference. Right, but we don't know how to do that. That's what I'm saying. We don't know how to reproduce it. We would have already done it. We don't know how to clone a human as far as the soul, the consciousness that operates the body. We can clone the tissue, we can clone a brain. We've even transplanted brains into things before, and it's functioned for, you know, short times. But like we can completely clone any part of the human body, but you can completely make a human body as a clone, but it won't have anything operating it. We don't have that technology because we don't even understand how our own operating system works. They're trying, but it's not going to work though. Well, we can copy and paste, but I'm saying it will never have original thought. Yeah, you can clone a human consciousness maybe by analyzing the thought waves and just reproducing them, but it's just going to be a human brain cloned into a. It's not going to be like an actual. It's just going to be a copy. It's just going to be a dull copy. It's not going to be like a real life form. Right, it's going to be artificial. Look at the name. It's artificial intelligence because it's not actually intelligence. Yeah, it's not going to replace us. It's not going to replace us. It's just going to make it so that lazy people, but you still have to have people making all of the shit. No, I refuse to use that shit. Nope. I want no part of that. I know people who have. I've seen it. I heard all about it. Like, I research it. I just don't use it myself. I don't want that shit anywhere near any of my technology. I'm annoyed enough that fucking Facebook made it, like, impossible to turn off. That fucking pissed me off. Dude, it probably already has them. And that's the bit, and that the scariest thing is that most of the people working on AI are anti-humanist. But it's really not though. The only reason it's faster, like if we could do, you know, basically we were just talking about, and just, you know, copy and paste human brain waves and make it digital, and then speed that up 1,000 times, it would be way smarter than any AI. That's literally what they're trying to. That's what they think that they're trying to do when they're making AI, but they're not making AI. They're just copying something that already exists and making a shittier version of that, and then just toying with it electronically. That's not better, that's not smarter, it's not replacing anything. Right, and on top of that, if all the workers are all robots, how are you making money? Yep. Because it's almost more expensive getting a cheeseburger at like a regular mom and pop diner than it is to go to McDonald's. And the one at McDonald's is like a fifth of the size for only like a couple bucks less. Right. It is fast food. And cheap. Yep. The original concept was they would make good food in bulk and it would be cheaper because you can make it all at once, like factory produce, like, you know, basically the same idea that Henry Ford had. It'd be, you know, you make it on an assembly line, and if you make enough of them, you can make them cheaply. If you make enough of them in a day, you can make them cheaper. So if you can sell enough, then you'll make a profit. It's the same concept that a lot of drug dealers who go out of business use, because it's a shitty business it's a shitty business concept. It doesn't work long term.
Hey, are you trying to climb up here? You won't make it up here so easily. Unless you know how to use glide morph like me, that is. Any glider can fly all the way here in one go, if they take off from a high place like Tyrus Memorial Hall.
Well, let's be real about wages. The whole currency system in America isn't even real money. It's already digital currency. All these people talking about, I don't want digital currency, it already is. Your dollar it's not even worth anything. It's not even worth lighting on fire to start a campfire, because the fucking fumes from that thing will kill you. Plus, it's a felony. You can go to prison for life for burning a dollar bill. Just to light a campfire to keep yourself alive if you lock yourself out of your house at night in the winter. Like, they're not making anything either. The money we have has zero value. The only value our currency has is the digital value in the government's computer that the government decides it's worth. If the government tomorrow says, oh, well, your $10,000 bill is now worth 1 cent, well, that's how much it's worth. There's nothing you can do about it.
Can fly all the way here in one go, if they take off
yeah,
from
essentially.
A high place like Tyrus Memorial Hall. Hey, did my bag fall somewhere? Damn it.
No, they don't. No, they don't. They are given a price range that they can choose from. I was a crew trainer. I was a crew trainer and ran the night shift at McDonald's for like a little over a year. Okay, so here's so I worked in a franchise, and I was the owner's favorite employee. I worked at 2 different of his stores, one before college and one right after college, and he remembered me when I came back from college to a different store. He remembered me by name. He saw me at the grand opening of the new store and was like, oh, hey, I'm glad you're back working with us again. Called me by name and everything like 4 or 5 years later. And I'd only worked at the place for like 3 or 4 months before I went to college. So it'd been like 3 or 4 months. I'd met him 3 times. And when he got the franchise, yeah, he can choose like which deals McDonald's offers that he wants to do. Be based on his stores and what sells there, because he's the one who has that information. But when it comes to prices, he doesn't get a say. He gets a range. So in every state that McDonald's has a franchise, they have the state prices based on the state taxes and state coding and all that kind of shit. So every state has their own price range. You can sell, say, a cheeseburger from like $3 to like $4.50 or something like that. But you can't go over, because then you're essentially scamming the McDonald's the franchise is then scamming the corporate by making double on their product. That's basically a copyright infringement.
If they take off from a high place like Tyrus
So like
Memorial
you can't that would be like if I went into McDonald's, took a burger, and then just opened up a stand on the street and sold it for $2 instead of $1. Like, that's literally illegal. You can't do that. McDonald's tells you what you can sell it for. They do give you a range, but I don't know what the range is. I don't know that. But they'll give you a range, and you can choose, anywhere in that range that you want to sell the stuff at. But you're not allowed to make more off of McDonald's than the owner of McDonald's is making. You can't just pick any price. Imagine if you were selling cheeseburgers for $10 a
Must be
cheeseburger.
somewhere over
You know what I
there.
mean? Because you found some dumb community who would actually do that.
you
Some rich
trying to
people
climb
in
up
some,
here?
you know, some really rich part of town that don't ever go out and touch grass.
won't make it
You
up
know what
here
I'm
so
saying?
easily.
Maybe the people making AI.
Unless you
Maybe
know
you're
how to use
selling.
glide
You know what I'm
morphs like me,
saying?
that is.
Like, but
Any
that,
glider
what
can
would that
fly all
look
the way
like
here
when
in
you're
one
making
go,
fucking
if they take
billions
off
of
from a high
dollars a
place
year and
like
the owner of
Tyrus Memorial
McDonald's is
Hall?
making less than you?
Hey, did my
They're not going to
bag
let
fall
that fly. They
somewhere?
won't just let you
Damn it.
fix any price. That's not the way that works. You have a little leeway, but you don't even get to decorate your store the way you want. It's not the worst, but it's certainly not anywhere near good or acceptable. And now that they've at least got supposed... Right, and they switched to the all-beef burgers, so now they just have paper-thin beef burgers instead of, like... Have you seen that shit lately, dude? I'm a health nut, so I don't generally eat fast food. Like, I'll go to Subway, but that's about it. And even then, the bread there is, you know, but it tastes so fucking good. I just can't help myself.
Hey, are you trying to climb up here?
It's the closest thing to real food you can get in fast
You
food.
won't make it up here so easily.
And the vegetables are
Unless you know how to use
solid.
glide
I mean,
morph
they're
like me,
getting
that
them from
is.
questionable places, but I mean, it's
Any
like
glider
fresh
can
food.
fly all the way
It's
here
no
in one
worse than
go,
what you're getting
if
in a
they take off
supermarket
from a high
making it
place
home.
like Tyrus Memorial Hall.
Like, but that's a problem with just this
Bag
country.
falls
Because, like,
somewhere.
Europe banned all American meats. And most American breads. Like, if you go over to, like, Italy and you eat bread in Italy, you don't feel all bloated. You don't feel shitty. You don't feel all sluggish and sleepy. Like, they don't have, like, diabetes there like we have here. Because everything has fucking a shitload of sugar and a shitload of complex carbs that the body just cannot digest. But their bread doesn't have that because it's actually made... We spent so much time and energy in our agriculture just genetically manipulating all of our plants so they'll have bigger
Must be
loads for
somewhere
what
over
they...
there.
You know, the what's the word I'm trying to
Hey,
think of?
are
The
you trying to
yield.
climb
So
up
that the
here?
yield will be so much larger that we've genetically modified
You
them
won't
so
make
that
it
they'll
up
be...
here
Yeah,
so
they're
easily.
great for production.
Unless
But
you
now
know
they're
how to use
unhealthy
glide
to
morph like
eat.
me, that
They're
is.
unhealthy for consumption because of all the
Any
modifications
glider
they've
can fly
made.
all the way here in one go, if they take off
Like,
from a high place like
The
Tyrus
tomatoes we
Memorial
have in America and like the tomatoes they have in Mexico don't even look the same. The bananas that we're getting, bananas have seeds in them. Real bananas have seeds in them. We get seedless bananas. How the fuck are they growing seedless bananas? Some fucking magical shit. I'm telling you what. They're a bunch of fucking wizards over there, dude. You think magic isn't real? Tell me how they're growing those fucking bananas. Right. And it's not just bananas. It's like all the food. It's like, it's everything. It's wild. Mm-hmm. Always. Always with the shortcuts. Because it's always just like, it's the McDonald's principle. Immediate returns. Instant gratification. Yeah, people have. And they're disgusted. I've seen, like, videos that young people have taken of old people just raging at the McDonald's counter. Because, like, how am I supposed to order? I don't know how to use this damn computer screen. And then there's like, I just want a cheeseburger. And then they'll finally, like, help them at the counter. And they tell them it's like fucking $4 or $5 for just a regular cheeseburger. And they're like, what did you say? You mean that back when I was a kid it was 25 cents? And you gotta drink with it too. You gotta walk out with a nice cold Coke and a cheeseburger for 25 cents. Like when I was a kid it was 89 cents. It's fucking $3.50 where I live now. Yeah. Yeah. After tax, it was like 90-something cents. It was like 93 cents or something like that. 95 cents, something around there. Yeah, it's just under $1 with tax here. It is now 350. It's gone. It's 3 times what it was 20 years ago. That's not even that long. Imagine if all food was 3 times more expensive. We'd have as many homeless people as starving people in every city as they do in New York and LA right now. Wait, what? How the Oh, you're saying that it's been more than inflation has been. Well, yeah, that I agree with. Sorry, I thought you were trying to say that McDonald's had increased inflation, and I was like, what? Okay. You had me sideways there for a second, bro. I was about to be like, what the fuck are you on? Okay. I worried myself. Yeah, they're increasing the price more than they need to just to keep up with inflation. Oh yeah, for sure. They realized how many, I mean, look at Super Size Me. They realized how many fucking people are coming to McDonald's, and they're like, oh, well, now that we realize this is addicting, let's take advantage of it. They're what? Dude, that's actually not. The worst thing they have is their chicken. Their breaded chicken, the chicken nuggets. Okay, I'm going to tell you, now I'm going to give you just a little bit. If you like chicken nuggets and you want to keep eating them, you might want to just plug your ears for about the next 30 seconds. 30 seconds, okay? I'm just giving you a warning now. All right, here's the story. I worked at McDonald's, like I said. When you pull those chicken nuggets up out of the fryer, they are foaming with this white, oozy foam that just bubbles up out of them. That's not real chicken. That is clone chicken that they ground up and put together with a paste. I mean, that's when I say that that's not... Some of it's real chicken, but it's not the meat, okay? That's ground bone, that's ground heads, that's ground claws, okay? That's ground organs. That's all the trash parts that you would normally throw away. They grind that up, they mix it with clone meat, they throw some paste in there to put it together like a nugget, and then they bread it, and that's what you're eating. And that shit foams. It bubbles out like you put like OxyClean in your bathtub, bro. It's fucking gross. So unfortunately, that's why I don't like I can't trust food anywhere. Like unless I know the hunter who hunted it and I know their cooking process and I've seen their kitchen and I've seen where they butcher it at, I don't trust it, but I don't have a choice. I got to eat it anyway because otherwise I'm a fucking starve. But like every day, it's like, ew, what the fuck is in this? I don't know. Like I don't even know, and I know quite a bit. I don't even know if I want to know. Like, would I even be able to eat it if I knew? Did you know that there was a recent study here within the last 5 years that showed the average American eats enough human DNA in their lifetime through hot dogs to constitute a whole person? That shit's fucking wild. That's the average human. Imagine the upside of that scale. Wow. That is so sad, man. Really? Did they say what percentage?
Must be somewhere over there.
What percentage?
Huh? Hey.
80% of Americans think that fast food is a luxury. They think that eating poison is a luxury.
Unless you know
Good holy shit. I don't want to believe you. I know that I feel like that sounds exaggerated, but in my heart I know that's probably true.
Hey, did My bag
Like,
falls somewhere.
that's so gross. Like, I want to argue with you, but I can't really think of any valid points that can argue with you. Like, I really wish I could, because I really want to argue with you, like that. Ugh. The more I think about it, the more gross it gets. Why'd you do this to me?
It must be somewhere over there. Huh? Hey, are you trying to climb up here? You won't make it up here so easily. Unless you know how to use glide morph like me, that is. Any glider can fly all the way here in one go, if they take off from a high place like Tyrus Memorial Hall.
I mean, yeah, I know, but still. So my family's never really eaten out though, so I just can't really understand. Yep. See, you can't make more. Do you have any idea how many burgers McDonald's makes? So you're saying the amount of money that goes into one burger versus home versus McDonald's? Is it though? Because you also have to consider that you're having to pay the electric bill. So are you cooking with a fire or are you cooking with an electric stove? No, it's more expensive to buy it. Yeah. Because you have to buy a whole loaf of bread and a bunch of you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't buy just 2 slices of bread and 1 piece of meat. Well, yeah, in the long run, it's cheaper. I get what you're saying now, too, but yeah, you were kind of saying it funny. This is all good. We got there. Well, the thing is, they were actually healthier then. The things that people were complaining about how unhealthy they were back then was just because they were greasy. And that was right when the whole sugar industry had waged their, like, little fake information war against the fat people. Did you know that they actually made up the term trans fat? That doesn't actually exist. Trans fat's not even a real fucking thing. Yeah. Shh. No. That's not cooking them in grease versus not cooking. That's what there's. When you eat a burger at fast food, it's cooked in grease. No, like, no. Like now, they're basically like cooked in grease, and back then, the whole thing was like you're cooking so many so fast that all of the grease is just kind of there. So you're basically just cooking it in there, so it's like stewing, like. Because you have to realize how many burgers fast. Now, I'm not talking about the little diners that you know make to order that were really fast. I'm talking about real fast food, because they make them in bulk. Okay, so when I first started working there, they already had the big electric press grills. They had 3 of them at a time, and I was a grill guy before I moved up to crew trainer. But like, so you would put. Like a normal load is like 6 burgers per, you know, oven essentially, and you had 3 ovens. So that's 32, 24. Sorry, 24. That's 24 burgers at once, and that's done in like 2 minutes. Well, when it got busy, you would put like 10 to 16 on there once you knew what you were doing, and you knew what settings to change so it would still cook it to the proper amount, because you can't just, you know, double the amount of burgers and double the time. That's not how it works. But there's always that one wise old wizard that learned from the previous wise old wizard that teaches people what the correct amounts is and just knows everything. Well, I learned from that wise old wizard, and I became the wise old wizard, as the wise old wizarding goes. But there's I don't remember anymore, but there's, you know, it's been more than 10 years. But it's like there was a certain, you know, time that you could put it in, and it would still come out, and everything would be evenly cooked. It'd be at the same temperature that you wanted it. But anyways, like you would end up putting, you know, up to 16 of them on at a time. So that would end up having, you know, close to 50, and then you'd be done in, you know, like 5 minutes. But imagine how much grease there is going to be on that grill from cooking that many at once. That's what people were upset about, for their being greasy. Because, like, you would get it, and it would just be, like, soaked, you know, and everyone had just heard about how, you know, fat's bad for you. Well, grease is fat. That's what grease is. So then they were like, oh, well, that's all fat. And they were like, oh, it's all greasy and fatty, because the sugar industry had convinced everyone in the general population that fat was what was bad for you, not sugar. Because they were trying to market, like, all their sugary cereals and shit to children and give everyone diabetes. Well, I mean, too much of it is bad for you, and certain kinds aren't good for you. But generally, like, the fat that's in, like, vegetables and fruit and meat and shit like that, like, that's not bad for you. Yeah, it's like, it's required for life. And blood sugar, sucrose, like, I can't tell you how many times I've had this debate with stupid people on Facebook. Like, oh, you need to cut sugar out of your diet. No, the fuck you don't. You will die. You will literally die. If you have no blood sugar, you will die. What the fuck are you talking about? Well, there's sugar in vegetables, though. And look, here's the thing. For some people, it is healthier. Depending on your specific body biome, for some people, going, you know, vegan or vegetarian, that is healthier. Now, overall, it's the same. We're omnivores. We're not carnivores. We're not vegetarians. We're omnivores. We can survive on only meat. We can survive on only vegetables. But the perfect diet is a healthy balance of both. The problem in the past, the reason why most people ate meat back in like the Middle Ages and the Dark Ages, you know, back in the day before society got to where it's at now, where trade became easier, you know, trucking and, you know, the more advanced trains and ships and stuff like that, and planes and everything, you know. But, like, you know how hard it was for hunter and gatherers? The amount of the weight of plants that you have to eat to make up for all the nutrients you're not getting from meat it's like 5 to 10 times the weight in plants that you have to eat to make up, to like get the same nutrients that you'd have to eat. Like 1 pound of meat is like 7 pounds of plants that you'd have to eat to get the exact same amount of nutrients. Now, yes, you can do that now, But they didn't you would be hunting all day for plants. You'd be out in the fields picking fruits and berries, or out, you know, out in the woods or out in the field picking fucking food all day, and you'd never come close to getting as much as you would get just from hunting a deer or a rabbit. Like, it just wasn't, what? It depends. Or if you're growing it, no. And you can do that even in a small apartment. Like, it's not really that hard to grow enough food to eat. You just actually have to get off your lazy ass and do it. That's the problem for me too. I don't want to grow food. I've worked on a farm before. It's not my cup of tea, man. See, I was a chef for 10 years. I'm fine with cooking. It's just like I don't want to have to do all the stuff that goes along with cooking, like the dishes and the prep work. Like, I don't want to have to chop the veg. That was why it's like I was always like the manager. I was always like the kitchen manager. So but we always had, you know, a kitchen bitch. That's what we called it. We had a kitchen bitch, you know, and they chopped vegetables. Right. They cleaned it. They chopped the vegetables. They chopped up, you know, all the meat for everything. They shredded the chicken. You know what I'm saying? Well, you can make individual servings, and it's really not that hard. Are you asking about like which contract managers to go to? Okay, so there's two good level 50 contract managers. There's one over by the like werewolves and shit in Kanina Village. That one's good to go to. And then the other good one is in Pure Light Tower. But as far as to which one you want to go to, the ads that are in the different places drop different things. So if you look on the map at the different zones that you want to go to, there'll be a little banner. If you go to that banner, it'll show the drops. So look at the gear that it drops. If the gear that drops in that area from those ads is better than the other area, go to that one. Yeah, the contract rewards, you know, like the coin and the XP and that kind of stuff that you get for the reward is basically the same from any contract 50, any contract merchant that's an endgame merchant. Alright, so give me a second to get out of combat and then I will, thank you. Like a question mark or something, I think. Is it? Oh, okay. Now go over to monsters. Yep. And then when you click on each monster, it'll show you what their drop table is. And then for the boss monsters, there'll be a little target icon, and you can click that, and it'll show you where they spawn. Yeah, that's where I've been going now, because I call them entings, because I'm a Lord of the Rings fan, but the little entings, the little mitrans or whatever the fuck they're called, I can't remember what they're called, but because I call them entings. Anyway, the little entings, those guys have some stuff that is useful to me, so that's why I've been going over there. Yes. And that also works in dungeons too, by the way, the open dungeons. So when you go to the banner, like if you open the map and go to one of the open dungeons, you just click on the little banner, and it'll show you floor by floor all of the different ads on each floor, what they all drop, and then again you can click on the little target, and it'll show you where the bosses spawn. Okay. Well, there's several ways, but let me ask you a couple questions first before I tell you that, because you may not even end up wanting to know. Go into your inventory right now. First of all, what mat is it? Do you remember? Is it magic thread or anything like that? Okay. Looks like wool. Is it what quality is it? What color? Okay. It wasn't like magic thread or something, was it? Magic thread? That is a thing. Magic thread's a thing. It looks like a ball of yarn. Blue ball of yarn, rare magic thread. Yeah, that's magic thread, fam. Okay, so open up your inventory. So, yeah. So open up your menu, go to inventory, and then go to the far tab that looks like a bag. Okay. Do you see any boxes that looks kind of like a 10-sided polygon with a gem in the middle? Yes, though, and you can select how many. So when you click on it, you can choose how many you want to open, and that's how many of the thread you'll get. Yep. No. So you said you needed quality, I think. That's the green. So you go to the green colored one of the same shape and design. So there's going to be, it comes in different colors. So white, green, blue, purple. So if you want a lower quality, you got to go with the lower color. So white is always the base color, and then up to green, and then up to blue, and then up to purple, which is the highest. Now, in some games, it'll go up from that and go to gold. And sometimes it'll go up even higher than that and go to yellow. And those are usually called like exotics or mystics or things like that. I don't think this game has any of those yet, though. Any, like, gold stuff, anything above purple. Yeah, I don't think so. I'm talking, like, on the Korean, though, I mean. I don't think there is on the Korean yet. Like, I don't think that's something that's really in the game. Maybe, yeah, eventually, but I mean, we're not even to a point in the gaming community where that would be useful to us, really. I mean, we haven't even tapped the surface of purples hardly yet.